Something completely different is Andrew Porter on page 11 of the Sunday Times. A guy none of us knew much about, really. I mean,
I think he's in a few of the Sundays today. I think he might.
Yeah, he is actually. Sorry, he is. I just thought it was well done in the Sunday Times, because Brendan Fanning has it as well in the Sunday Independent. The Sunday Times give it a good big picture. Peter O'Reilly's done it, and he's given good stuff, Andrew Porter, about himself. I mean, where a lot of people would have first really took notice of him was where he ran over Jacob Stockdale in that Interpro over Christmas in the Leinster-Ulster match. Just his background, I mean, I didn't realise, the death of his mother had a huge effect on him.
Yeah, and a lot of his tattoos reflect his memory of his mother, apparently. Those of us who have bluffed our way through rugby internationals for 30 odd years have to hold our hand up, and most of us at least, and say what goes on in the front row is a complete black mystery to me. And
sure, there's lads who have bluffed their way through internationals on the pitch and don't know what goes on in the front row.
100%. And the thing about, apparently what he's done is moving from loose head to tight head is the most difficult of all, because at tight head you end up scrummaging basically against two people, and the pressure is extraordinary. But
Bernard Jackman described it last week as trying to relearn writing with your bad hand. Yeah,
which is a brilliant way of describing it, I'd imagine. It seems to be that difficult. The physical strength of Andrew Porter, and you know, it was very engaging watching him come under pressure against Wales last week, where they clearly were targeting him, and you're thinking, I mean, the game was on a knife edge right up to the Stockdale interception, really, and he just held his own. And it's a lovely read. Both Brendan Fanning and Peter O'Reilly write about him, but the way the fitness instructor at Andrews took him under his wing, and just all the strength and conditioning work. I mean, I think his mother died. His mother Wendy died when he was 12.
Yeah,
and
she died of cancer when Andrew was 12. Her only son was 12. In the weights room, he came under the kind but motivating influence of his PE teacher, David Jones. He says, I was going through a rough patch, and I found weights training therapeutic. It was good in a physical and mental kind of way. I could just let everything go and feel my own thoughts. So,
the vibe you get is that there was a lot more than just talking him through weight training. That there was a lot of care shown to Andrew, not just by his family. His father Ernie was a very good rugby player too, but within Andrews as well. That there was a lot of care and a lot of understanding for him going through a tough time. But Peter O'Reilly has a line here that really captures how dramatic this guy's rise is, and it is, consider this, last Saturday was the 22-year-old Dubliner's 5th start as a tight head in professional rugby. I mean, that's astonishing, absolutely astonishing. And he is the prototype, if you like, of the modern prop. That it's not, he just doesn't hold up a scrum. I mean, his carries, the figures for his carries in the two games against Italy and Wales are off the charts.
Well, it's Ireland are almost not leading world rugby. I mean, New Zealand have done it for a while, but certainly like what Tyke Furlong is doing, very few tight heads are doing. And Porter says here, I think those days of just scrummaging tight head are over. It's all about the full package now. That's what the coaches are all about with Ireland and with Leinster as well. I think they've got a jump on the rest of the world on this, bar one or two countries. What Peter O'Reilly does, which is a really good idea, is talks to Mike Ross.
Yeah, just great quotes from Mike.
Because I mean, he not ended Ross's career. He was coming to the end anyway. But he says that John Fogarty asked Ross, of all the loose heads in the camp, who could make the switch, and he says, immediately I said Porter. I didn't realise I was sealing my fate. But he says the thing is with Porter is that he's so strong, no one's going to outmuscle him. So the only thing he's going to get caught out on is if someone's conning and the loose head hinging or walking around. But once he's set nice and low, you need dynamite to shift him. But it's interesting that Ross straight away said Porter's the guy to switch.
He saw something in him straight away, and I think probably what he saw was this incredible physical strength. That all of the descriptions of him are of this just
outlier.
An outlier. I think Ross himself uses that expression. And like, you know, when you think of the way Tyke Furlong has come through in the last 2 years, and we saw him, he became one of the Lions' most important players in New Zealand. And now we've got this guy, because when we had Mike Ross, we thought, well, we've no backup. And
there was a time in Twickenham one year when that was badly
absolutely,
exposed,
and the whole thing collapsed because Ross went off. But if you think, and Ross would say this himself, Ross was never the most dynamic man around the field.
No.
Furlong and Porter are sensational around the field.
the joke was if Mike Ross had the ball in open field, a mistake had been made.
Exactly.
Someone has done something wrong if that situation has happened.